Morning. Welcome to the Minnesota Association of Realtors e-resource. Today we're going to talk about CMAs, BPOs, and appraisals. The reason for this topic this week is that Christine Berger, Heather Mavenkamp, and myself had a meeting with the Minnesota Department of Commerce trying to determine how BPOs fall into the overall real estate market analysis and appraisal world. They want to remind realtors of their role in a CMA or a BPO and what the difference is between that and an appraisal. First, in state statute under 82B.03, it outlines what the requirements are for a license in order to do one. One of the things that we have to make sure in real estate is that we don't violate any of the provisions. So there is a provision that says if you're going to do appraisals, you must have a license. There is an exemption in 82B.035, and it states that this chapter does not apply to a licensed real estate salesperson or broker, and this is the key, in the ordinary course of the licensee's business, gives a market analysis of the price of real estate if the market analysis is not referred to or construed as an appraisal. That means you can give a price opinion, but you cannot inform the consumer or make the consumer believe that it is an appraisal. So what is a CMA? Well, most of you know that that's an opinion based upon the information related to market sales in a particular area. We look at sold data, we look at active data, and we look at off-market properties in order to try and make a determination what a specific property may sell for. It is not an appraisal, though, and should not be referred to as an appraisal because they look at other things when they look at their valuations. A broker price opinion is basically a CMA that's done for an institution. Oftentimes the institution is a national firm or has a certain process that they want you to follow. Some of their forms can be very long and appear to be appraisals. We have to make sure and not treat them as an appraisal. And if you see USPAP on the form, that's actually an appraisal form. You should make sure always tell people that it is not an appraisal. One of the other things is the Code of Ethics through the National Association of Realtors. As a member, you must know what Article 11, Standard of Practice 11-1 is. It requires you to make 7 statements when you're doing a CMA. We'll go through those quickly for you. They're fairly basic. The first is identification of the subject property, where it is, maybe a PID number, address is always good. Date prepared so that they know when the analysis was put together. Define value or price, what it is you come up with at the end. Limiting conditions, including statements of purpose and intended use or users. Purpose means if indeed this property is being used one way now, but in the future is going to have to be used another way, you have to make sure and define that. Make sure not to misrepresent what the property is going to be in the future for the potential purchaser. Any present or contemplated interest in the property, including the possibility of representing either the seller or buyers in the purchase of that property. That also includes disclosing any interest you may have in the property or somebody related to you would have in the property. Basis for the opinion that you're coming up with, including all applicable market data. And you generally do that anyhow. You show pictures and relate it out, but that's one of the requirements. And a statement, and this is a key again, a statement to the effect that the opinion is not an appraisal, so that the consumer understands this is an analysis, not a formal appraisal. Safe harbor for licensees as well. It must be part of your ordinary course of business, the analysis of the price of real estate, and the analysis is never referred to as an appraisal. And then last but not least has to do with compensation and payment. It's important that you understand that if you're doing a BPO for an institution, a lender, a mortgage company, a loan servicer, anybody, any of the fees must go through the broker. They cannot pay you directly. As a licensee under the broker, you're acting on behalf of the broker, and so all monies must flow through the broker. We hope that's helpful for you in defining what to do with CMAs, BPOs, and appraisals. Hope you have a good week. Thanks for joining.